This one's wife. Child protector, child destroyer. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. You'll be aware, and as mentioned in the preceding video, that this one's wife made it known that Chrissy Teigen, the moon-faced abuser of people online, will be joining her in part 2 of season 1 of the banal cooking show with Love Meghan. I've explained previously the similarities between these two narcissists and some of the differences, and what we can expect when Teigen makes her appearance on the show. One aspect that stands out in particular with regard to Teigen's attendance is the rank hypocrisy, albeit unsurprising, exhibited by this one's wife. Let's examine this, and then I will unpack why she has done as she has done. This one's wife regularly likes to tell us about the fact that she is a doting mother, that she adores her children who love her very much. She operates a facade whereby in interviews, in broadcasts, and more recently, utilizing Instagram, she wants to show the world that she has an idyllic family life whereby she is a wonderful mother. The presentation of this facade assists her with regard to the nullification of threats to control that suggest that she's a horrible person, and allows her to draw fuel by way of people's reaction to her talking about being a mother. But it goes further than this. She also holds herself out as being a champion of defending children online. You'll recall some time ago, this one's wife and the Prince of Pink Pancakes appeared on CBS News Sunday Morning, and they stated all they wanted to do was protect their son Archie and daughter Lilibet. Prince Harry added that one of the scariest things was knowing that any parent could lose a child to suicide as a result of exposure to harmful content. The pair recently launched a new program called the Parents Network, which aims to support parents and guardians who have been affected by the issue. Our kids are young. They are 3 and 5, said this one's wife at the time. They're amazing, but all you want to do as parents is protect them. And so as we can see what's happening in the online space, we know that there's a lot of work to be done there, and we're just happy to be part of change for good. Alongside the sit-down interview, clips showed the couple meeting with bereaved parents near Santa Barbara, most of whom had lost a child due to harmful social media content or online bullying. Recently, they visited New York, where this one's wife and Harry called for stronger protections for children from the dangers of social media, saying enough is not being done. They unveiled a memorial in New York City which is dedicated to the memory of children whose families believe harmful material online contributed to their deaths. We want to make sure that things are changed so that no more kids are lost to social media, Prince Harry told BBC Breakfast in New York. Life is better off social media. He added, saying that he was grateful that his children were still too young to be online. This one's wife said the danger of social media was a global issue, and one thing we can all agree on is that children should be safe. I think in many ways what we see through these parents is the hope and the promise of something better, because they just want to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else, this one's wife said. Accordingly, Harry and this one's wife hold themselves out as being protective parents. We know from the perspective of this one's wife that as a narcissist, this is simply a facade. But this is the image that this one's wife wants to portray to the world. Wonderful, caring parent, protector of children online. Accordingly, this one's wife decides that she will team up in part 2 of season 1 of her With Love Meghan show with Chrissy Teigen, fellow cook, model, and internet personality. That's who she's having on the show. This is the same Chrissy Teigen who wrote on Twitter, as it was, to a 16-year-old girl messages such as this. At Courtney Stodden, my Friday fantasy, you dirt nap. Baby. Go to sleep forever. What drug makes you do that with your mouth? Asking for a friend who really wants to know how to look like an idiot. Thanks. Accordingly, this one's wife decides that she will team up in part 2 of season 1 of her With Love Meghan show with Chrissy Teigen, fellow cook, model, and internet personality. That's who she's having on the show. Real curvy bod never ceases to make me laugh out loud. Thank you so much at Courtney Stodden. You are truly a Twitter dream. Replying to Courtney Stodden, I hate you. Directed at Courtney Stodden again, why do you speak like a Fabio book? Saying Courtney Stodden's FB page got shut down for being too sexy is like saying the Nazis were just meanies, as in, not quite. At Courtney Stodden, your butthole. Again directed at Courtney Stodden, you are just so effing weird. Seriously. Those are just some of the online messages that Chrissy Teigen directed towards a 16-year-old girl. That is bullying. It's devaluing behaviour, whereby Chrissy Teigen devalued a 16-year-old girl for the purposes of asserting control over her and drawing fuel by way of reactions, potentially from Stodden, but also from other people that were observing. She did this back in 2011. 10 years later, the moon-faced bully decides it's time to apologise. 10 years later. She wrote, not a lot of people are lucky enough to be held accountable for all their past bullshit in front of the entire world. I'm mortified and sad at who I used to be. I was an insecure, attention-seeking troll. I am ashamed and completely embarrassed at my behaviour, but that is nothing compared to how I made Courtney feel. I've worked so hard to give you guys joy and be beloved, and the feeling of letting you down is nearly unbearable, truly. These were not my only mistakes and surely won't be my last, as hard as I try, but God, I will try. I've tried to connect with Courtney privately, but since I publicly fueled all this, I want to also publicly apologise. I'm so sorry, Courtney. I hope you can heal now, knowing how deeply sorry I am. And I am so sorry I let you guys down. I will forever work on being better than I was 10 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago. I analysed that in the past. It is the false contrition of a narcissist and worth the square root of fuck all. But it's worth including it to demonstrate the behaviour of this online bully. This was a bullying, moon-faced narcissist devaluing a 16-year-old girl. What was the impact on Courtney Stodden? She explained, I did actually almost succeed at committing suicide because this was a huge part of it. She recalled when Teigen was expressing a desire for her to die. I had a suicide letter written. She continued, I remember my last thought was, maybe I don't deserve to be here when people that high up are telling me I don't deserve to be here. The clear causal link between the bullying, devaluing behaviour of this narcissist engaging in that online behaviour was to cause a vulnerable 16-year-old girl to contemplate taking her life. But it just doesn't end there in relation to Teigen's behaviour. She has also engaged in making repeatedly odd comments, and that's to be generous, in relation to young children. She tweeted, for instance, "Johnny and I are on our way to the Hollydale. It's serving a nice 4-year-old cheese pizza with adrenochrome." 4-year-old, young, cheese pizza. You're all familiar with the allegations of what pizza means amongst the Hollyweird collective, and adrenochrome is a chemical that is purportedly utilized by individuals for the purposes of maintaining youth that is taken from young children. She also wrote, "Seeing little girls do the splits half naked is just, I want to put myself in jail. I'm bored, really want to watch kids give birth. Where can I watch teens giving birth? MTV? I mean, that doesn't make sense, but I'll try. I'm going to jail over pizza." Thus, and also, I'm about to Anthony Weiner this kid. And we all know what Weiner got into trouble for. Chrissy Teigen is a narcissist. And she has demonstrated that with her nasty comments, her self-promotion, her desire to tell you everything about what she does, putting it all out there on social media. But specifically here, we have online bullying against children. The very thing that this one's wife claims she wants to protect children from. And yet, this one's wife decides that Chrissy Teigen should appear on season 1, part 2 of her shitty cooking show. What was she thinking? It clearly demonstrates what a hypocrite she is. It clearly demonstrates that she, as a narcissist, doesn't give a shit about children, because if she did, she wouldn't go anywhere near this nonce. However, she chooses to do a program with her because when she talks about protecting children at a past point, that was because her narcissism needed her to do that at that past point for the purposes of the assertion of control and the drawing of fuel. At a later juncture, she involves Chrissy Teigen in a show previously recorded, and doesn't see anything wrong with that, because at the point she involved her and at the point of broadcast, her narcissism dictates utilize Chrissy Teigen for the purposes of gaining views, residual benefit, responses, fuel, and again, the management of your facade of hanging out with someone who is a bigger name than you in relation to cooking. It cannot be clearer that Chrissy Teigen is a narcissist. It cannot be clearer that she is a bully. It cannot be clearer that she is a bully of children. It cannot be clearer she has some very strange ideas in relation to children. How do we know this? Because Chrissy Teigen wrote those things herself. Nobody made her do it. Nobody held a gun to her head. Oh, I know she blames that she was boozed up when she was doing it. Bullshit. This is the behavior of a narcissist that doesn't operate a facade, and she should be kept well away from children. And this one's wife demonstrates that not only does she not have an ounce of credibility as a consequence of her inclusion of this bullying nonce, but furthermore, that her overtures about protecting children are simply empty words in the wind, generated by a narcissist to manage her facade, to assert control and to draw fuel. It also demonstrates that this one's wife is a grade A clown, that because of the nature of her narcissism and its compartmentalization, it doesn't think, hang on a second, I shouldn't be bothering with somebody like Teigen if I'm going to be taken seriously in relation to the protection of children. It demonstrates that she not only is a nasty piece of work, a hypocrite and a narcissist, but she's also fucking stupid to boot. And there you have it. Somebody who holds herself as a child protector that decides to go into collaboration with a child destroyer. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.